Okay, we're live. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 173. We're going to call this browser crypto mining because I don't know. We like to talk about browsers and crypto mining, but mainly we're going to talk about ads in the browser today because a few stories came up, and we'll see how long that takes. So, Tom, anything on browser crypto mining?
Only that it's eating up people's batteries. It's seen as an alternative to advertising, maybe. I don't think it'll actually work out. I don't think it'll bring in as much money as people think. That said, it might bring in more money than people think. Who knows? The advertising business is a weird and fickle beast.
Well, let's
Um,
first start off with Chrome 64.
the
So, I don't.
sequel to the popular Super Mario 64, which came out in 1996.
I'm sad that I do remember playing that when that came out.
Me too.
Like that makes me old. Anyway, so Chrome 64 just came out, and one of the features, they actually have some cool features. The really unknown feature is that when you copy a link from the Google search, it will strip out all the nonsense and give you the actual link. Now, the really cool feature about that is that it will start blocking ads, and that has a big, huge, gigantic asterisk next to it. And we're going to spend some time talking about what that means, because for Chrome and Google to block ads, that's sort of weird. It's a conflict of interest. So,
sorry, I couldn't find my mute button. Yeah, it's weird. Google making all of their money from advertising and selling, AdSense, their big ad platform, to various websites, and then turn around and blocking advertisements. That's a little odd.
I mean,
But of course, they wouldn't block advertisements by Google necessarily.
well, let's first take a step back and let's talk about what is a bad ad. I mean, I haven't seen too many bad Google ads. I mean, for most people, it's a banner at the top, something on the side. Google doesn't do where the words are highlighted, and if you actually mouse over it, like 30 pop-ups happen. So for the most part, Google ads are tasteful, I guess. Is that the right word? They're not bad.
They're banners, they're stuff at the bottom, at the top. I honestly, when it comes to advertising, I would much rather, if I'm going to see ads, I'd much rather see ads by Google, because they do have some amount of standards. Yes, stuff has slipped through. We have talked about the show, how people can, try to embed malware, drive-by downloads, really obnoxious JavaScript crypto mining into advertisements. And some stuff does get through Google's filters, but for the most part, they're on the up and up. If you're going to see an ad, it probably should be a Google ad.
And for the most part, I don't know if you tried to get AdSense lately. They just don't allow, basically for tech sites, because there are so many of them, they just don't accept every tech site. In30 has, I think, 2 ads. I'm on there now. Everything is turned off, and they just have 2 ads on the side. They're either small banners or they're like 4 boxes of whatever. But again, that's it. And I think what started happening is, as they're trying to either monetize more and more of the site, they said, oh, people are clicking on this spot, let's add more. Oh, people are clicking, let's add more. So they added more. Or we're losing revenue. We have to find different ways to get eyeballs on that. And they started with all this other nonsense. Google wouldn't let them, so they moved to different ad companies. And that's the next thing we're going to talk about. Because we stopped pop-ups, and apparently now they're coming back.
Yeah, instead of the, popping out a different window as a pop-up, or even a different window as, under your browsing window as a pop under, we're now getting JavaScript style pop-ups, and we have been for a good old time now, where it's not actually a new window, but it functions the same way as a pop-up. You've got an ad that pops over the content that you're trying to view. Google has enumerated 12 types of ads here, and that is one of them that you're not going to see anymore if you're using Chrome.
Well, I mean, they're either behind this coalition for better ads, or they're funding this said company. But that's the first one: pop-up ads. So you're on a site, and all of a sudden it pops up either on mobile or on the desktop, and you have to find the X, and the X is not always in the upper right-hand corner, or that X doesn't mean anything, and it opens up something else.
Or
things
you
like that.
hover over the X and something else loads right at the perfect millisecond, which, by the way, isn't an accident, to make the content jump just a little bit so you click the ad.
Yep.
Happens all the time. Now, actually, I misspoke earlier. Apparently, if a site is just failing Chrome's test of decent ads, Chrome is not going to just block the bad ads. It will block all advertising on the site, including things sold through AdWords or through Google's DoubleClick.
Which, look, it's stop with the ads, guys. Like it's starting to get really annoying. The other one, the next one, which I think is the worst for me, is the auto playing video ads with sound.
Oh, those are awful. I go to a lot of gaming sites, and oh man, the amount I click to read a review, and all of a sudden there's like all this like whooshing noise as a logo flies in and auto playing video up at the top, and then you scroll and it goes to this tiny little corner so you can't get rid of it. It's the worst. It's possibly the most annoying ad of all time. And by the way, CNET, I'm calling you out too, because not only is everything on your site just about terrible and worthless, just the auto playing video everywhere. It drives me nuts. Anytime I see an ad or an article by CNET, I'm just like, I'll catch it somewhere else, or I won't. I don't have to go there.
So let me call out a few sites. First one is CNN, which argue, I mean, don't email me on what type of person I am. I do read CNN, sorry, but every single thing, it just pops up, and I'm sitting in a quiet room, and all of a sudden I get this blaring thing of somebody talking. Just stop. You claim you're a news organization. You don't need that. And then The Hill again is they do these little pre-videos. They're the videos of someone reading the article to you, but they hide where the close button is for about 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, and it's to improve engagement.
Yeah.
Look how many people watched our video. Well, they didn't really. They clicked a link to a news story, and then they were forced to watch a video while they hunted for a close or pause button. I love the sites that have auto-playing video because you'll hit the pause button just to shut the video up, but it's still taking bandwidth. It's still using energy because it's still buffering that video in the background. It's absolutely perfect on mobile connections. Love this stuff.
And it's okay. So the noise, stop with the noise. That's probably the most egregious. Prestitial ads with countdown. That's Forbes. So have you ever been to a Forbes site where it's and look, I'm not against those. You want to see the content, they're forcing you to watch a pop-up. I'm not anti that, unless it's like 6 pop-ups in a row. You gotta wait 30 seconds or whatever else. But Forbes, fine, whatever. Wait 5 seconds. Yes, fine, whatever.
Yeah, so they're getting rid of that. That always kind of annoyed me. Although it's weird because I use an ad block and I'd see like weird quotes. I'm like, okay, Forbes, just let me get the content. Not understanding that for other normal people without ad blockers, they were getting advertising. I wasn't. So yeah, that's going away. And if you've ever gone to a site and you see like the big ad that's like stuck at the bottom or the top of your screen, not like a banner, but it's actually stuck there and it moves with you when you're scrolling down the page. Yeah, that's on the bad list.
Again, those, I get those, but I understand why they do it. It's really annoying because you scroll and then all of a sudden bandwidth stops, and then you scroll and it jumps, and now you lost your place and everything else.
Oh, it's awful. So on mobile, so that was the 4 big ones on desktop. On mobile, there's actually 8. And there's this is great. This is fantastic. The mobile web is possibly the worst version of the internet, of the World Wide Web you can be on if you don't have an ad blocker.
And unless you're running, was it Firefox with Brave, or Firefox has ad blocking on iOS. They have obviously Firefox, but Brave for iOS, or Chrome I think has it now, but Chrome does not.
Yeah, so I'm using Firefox on Android. I've got uBlock Origin because the add-ons are supported. If you're looking for a browser with add-ons, Firefox Mobile, it's great. It's pretty fast. It doesn't have a lot of the cool like integrations with the Android operating system that Chrome did, but it's not really that big of a loss because I don't see ads anymore on mobile. And it's great. I don't get stuff like this, pop-up ads on mobile, or flashing animated ads is also on the bad list. Full screen scroll over ads. So when you're scrolling and you get like a whole ad float up and cover all the content, so you have to scroll past it, those ads are on the bad list. Again, pop-ups, autoplay videos with sound, the wait for the countdown timer ads. And this one's interesting. If over 30% of the mobile viewport is advertising, that will get blocked. This is great.
Look, I was telling you pre-show. So on my Android phone, I'm on Chrome, and I see a lot of things where ads should be with just like blue and white clouds. And I don't know where that's coming from. And did I check some box? I mean, I'm running Chrome. It's native. I didn't check anything other than probably do not track. But I don't see that many ads on the website. So maybe T-Mobile is doing something. Who knows? But it makes me happy that I don't see that many ads.
Yeah. Now, one thing that we do have to say is that just because I apologize, just because Google is now ad blocking, does not mean that you should go without an ad blocker. It doesn't mean that we're recommending you go without an ad blocker. Google's going to block the worst of the worst, the most egregious ads on the most egregious websites, and that's a good thing for everyone. But really, for security benefits, to get rid of the majority of the risk, I still recommend uBlock Origin. Just cut out the middleman, get rid of all the ads, take no chances, and improve your browsing experience all at the same time. Yes, I know by saying that I am robbing web content creators of their hard-earned revenue, but it's a security show, and we're going to take that bend towards things.
Look, it's uBlock. So the problem is when you run with an ad blocker, you are also blocking malicious JavaScript, and it's going to get us into the next section. And unfortunately, ads have been known to have malicious JavaScript. This is not a case where, oh, here's an ad and I don't want to see it, so I block it. This website is unreadable because of the ads. And by putting this, it saves bandwidth, which saves me on my data costs. It saves energy and not having to pin my processor. It does all these other things, and it adds a security benefit of not getting something infected in your system because you were running Flash or whatever else. So there's a lot of net benefits, and the problem is that it also blocks ads.
Yeah, one of the things that that Chrome's not going to block, though, unless they block an entire site's ads because they're being egregious, is advertisers that or advertisements that throw a CoinHive mining bot JavaScript into your system, into that page, and mines cryptocurrency while you're on the website. Now, something like uBlock Origin would block that. So that's what we're starting to see. Instead of sites being laden down with advertising, now they're laden down with cryptocurrency miners. So you'll go to a page, you won't see any ads, or you might see ads, but also in the background, your computer will start churning. Maybe the fans will kick up. Your browser will start using a whole lot of processing power just on that one single tab that you've got pulled up. And it turns out that you're actually mining various cryptocurrencies. Through JavaScript. It's slow, it's inefficient, and it does make the site owners money. So
the big name for this, and we're now moving on to our next topic, is that CoinHive is this company that will mine, I guess, in Monero, which is a cryptocurrency, in the background. So instead of showing you ads, you agree to have crypto mining in the background, which I'm not. To be fair, I'm not totally against. They're saying, hey, look, can you spare some processing power? This is how we're going to make money. The cost of Bitcoin and all these are so high that if we can mine these on 1 million computers, you don't get to see any ads. You're going to borrow some of your processing power. And if we make some money, we make some money. Or you can watch all these ads. Which one would you like to do? And I'm looking. So Salon, I thought, was the one. I thought Salon was the one, and I'm on it, and it violates everything. So I have this ad at the bottom that I have to click X on. I have ads everywhere, but I don't see this. We're going to crypto mine, and I did turn off my ad blocker. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know there are some sites that will nicely ask you, "Hey, would you like to help us out with this?" There are some that just start mining, and the issue isn't so much on the desktop, except for pretty underpowered systems, or if you're doing something else. Like if I'm running a whole bunch of virtual machines on my laptop, if I've got a bunch of stuff, processing and kicking, I'm going to notice any amount of slowdown. So if somebody starts, crypto mining in a tab, I'm gonna feel that, and it's not really a problem on the desktop so much. It is a big problem on mobile though, where increased processing power means increased battery usage. So if you're browsing the web, you're gonna lose battery a whole lot faster on these sites that are crypto mining versus ones that aren't.
Okay, so I just turned back. I went back to Salon. I turned on uBlock Origin. I think the number there is 22. And I get so we've noticed you're using an ad blocker. You can either disable it or I can suppress ads beta, and it says block ads, allowing Salon to use your unused computing power. So I'm clicking on that, and now it's supposed to start actually crypto mining while you're reading this. I don't hear my fan kicking on, but I also am not doing much.
Yeah, I know that they were talking about, this was accidentally using too much, it was using too little, it was like there was some issues with what exactly the level of processing power that they set this thing to. And that's another thing that CoinHive lets site operators do is you can say, hey, let's crank this to the max, mine as much as possible, but people might hate you, right? You knock that thing down to 15-20%, they might not even notice. And that's really kind of a good balance for everyone. Is you get a little bit of mining out of people, but you're not tanking their computer or draining their batteries so much, and they get to read your content for free without ads. I like this idea as long as it's responsibly done. The whole reason CoinHive is getting blocked today is because there are a lot of websites that got hijacked. People threw CoinHive everywhere. They ramped it up to 100%. They got greedy. It's the same thing with advertising, right? You throw a couple banner ads up, nobody really cares. You populate your entire website full of ads everywhere, people start caring. They start blocking this stuff. So as long as the browser mining and advertising communities can show a little restraint, I don't think it's really too much of a deal to let this stuff run.
Look, I'm all in favor if they say, hey, we're going to do this. I mean, your choices are no content or ads on the side, or we're going to crypto mine. It lets me make those decisions in any way. And you know what? I don't particularly mind ads as long as they're not flashing and being really obnoxious in my face. In fact, I'll click on a few of them if they're actually really good. It's the ones that are, like we said, those 12 that we discussed that were doing it. And you know what? Maybe I have this huge computer that doesn't really do anything. So as long as I'm not rendering video, fine, take some processing power. Don't pin me at 95%, but 60%, sure. Go for it for the 30 seconds or 45 seconds I'm on the site.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's weird though. It's such a slim line. And that's the issue with a lot of this stuff is it's really easy to push that over, and not everyone's going to have the same line, right? I wouldn't mind a web page taking 20% CPU to mine stuff if I'm reading the content for free without advertising. Somebody else who is on 1% battery away from a charger out in the middle of nowhere, just trying to get a little bit of news before the phone dies, they might really care about that 20%.
I mean, if you're watching news, but I understand it's like Uber. It was like that Uber story from a year ago where they noticed your battery and they said, "Oh, you're at 1%. We're going to charge you more because you just need that Uber right now." And that's how they were extorting people of a few more dollars. But look, it's so anyway. Now, so the problem is that we can't have nice things, just like everything else. And so now the ad blockers are in fact blocking this, and like we said, you can't have nice things.
Yeah, I think it was Security Now that was talking about, and I'm trying to find it here, and I'm having issues pulling it up. I think Security Now talked about CoinHive's like authenticated browser mining, where they are verifying cryptographically that a user has opted into per domain this browser mining and opted into how much they would like to contribute to the site. So we won't get the issue of, bad ads thrown everywhere. Every instance of this mining is actually authenticated and approved by the user. It would be, almost impossible to use nefariously, which is great. That's fantastic. The only downside to this is that who's actually going to click yes?
And explaining this to your grandmother also doesn't work.
Right.
So that's the other problem. We're still too new in the cryptocurrency mining, and everyone gets ads, and your grandparents or your parents know about the pop-ups. So it's this whole thing. And we don't know. The advertisers are just trying to throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. And here Google's coming in and saying, you know what? Hey guys, you're getting really obnoxious with the ads. Some of you are really greedy. You're not making too much, but you're not monetizing it the right way. And you need to figure out a different business model. And unfortunately, crypto mining sounds great, but people are just going to pin the CPU to 100%, or they're going to find some sort of job pop under at 1 pixel by 1 pixel that will just try and leave it running or get you to install something and everything else.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to push this over the edge of what's acceptable, and a lot of people are looking at the quick wins and let's get in, let's make a bunch of money, let's get out real quick, and you're gonna burn the place to the ground if you take a more measured approach to cryptocurrency mining in the browser by saying, okay, we're not gonna run this into the ground, we're gonna ease into this, we're not gonna hammer people too hard. Then this thing can go on and last a long time without getting blocked left, right, and center. The issue is that, for normal people, when they hear cryptocurrency mining in the future, they might associate that with malware because we're starting to see this stuff come out now.
Or the ransomware. Oh, I had to pay $300 to pay the Bitcoin ransom or whatever else for the other stuff.
My computer has been running slow for 3 months. Oh, it turns out I have a virus that was just ramping up the processor to make Dogecoin.
Or we saw that some of the government organizations accidentally put crypto mining on their website through some malformed malware ad or something like that.
Yeah, so we've actually started seeing actual malware that isn't doing ransomware, but it's taking over systems and using those systems to mine cryptocurrencies. Ramping up the processors crazy high just to do mining. And on some of these systems, people might not even notice. And it's not nice. They're running up power bills. They're putting extra strain on these machines, right? They're increasing heat. There's actually a cost. It doesn't come for free. Somebody pays for it, right? Generating extra heat, putting extra load on a fan means increased speed to replace parts. There's a lot that goes into heat dissipation in the computer. So it's not a win-win by any means, but people might not notice these things until, they get a bigger power bill or a fan burns out and their computer shuts off. Companies that will see this, or people that will see this, are the people who are actually using their computer and they notice some massive slowdown, then they've got to track it down to some malware.
So I want to end this conversation here. I do want to move on because, I don't know how much more of ads in the browser we can take, but if you have any comments, obviously message us. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. We have the WhatsApp group. Tweet at us. Find us. We'll get you in. There's your barrier to entry. You got to find us. We're not that hard to find. Trust us. So news broke this morning or yesterday or very recently that the WhatsApp co-founder decided to give $50 million into the Open Whisper System project to really push forward the secure messaging. And it's Wired, which is now behind the paywall, which I have never seen. So I don't know how strong the paywall is. If you have ad block on, it may It may go around, but they're basically saying, so WhatsApp got bought by Facebook, 50 million. The guy probably left with a few billion to walk around with, and decided to give 15 million of it to Moxie and saying, hey, we're going to create this group, and we're going to call it some open whisper system or the Signal consortium, and we're going to help people put encryption in. And oh, by the way, I'm going to fund it with $15 million seed money for you to do whatever you want as long as I'm chairman of the board or some really, really important title. And Moxie's like, absolutely. Because it turns out, reading the article, that they got, I think, like $2 million over like 6 years. Like, they were getting nothing. It was like 3 people working to do all this awesome stuff that Signal was doing. And now they're really getting some serious injection of money. And hopefully they use this money and do some great things.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about this. You have a person that absolutely cares about security, cares about secure messaging, put their money where their mouth is and says, all right, let's make this thing better for everyone. Let's put the Signal protocol everywhere we absolutely can. Let's help companies with integration. Let's make people end-to-end encrypted and secure in their communications. And he's giving a bunch of money to, one of the coolest privacy advocate coders around, Moxie Marlinspike. I think Signal gets even better from here on out. Now, it's not going to be overnight, right? It's not going to be next week Signal drops this massive update that just makes it perfect. But I'm sure we're going to see speedier updates. We're going to see more products implement the Signal protocol. We're probably going to see, better documentation around their open source offerings, which it's great that they're open source, but I really wish I could easily build, the Signal protocol into my applications. And that documentation is kind of missing unless you're a cryptographer really good at reading code. So this is only good news. I'm really happy about this.
What I'm hoping, and I know this is not going to happen, is all these other encrypted messengers that are encrypted, like Wire or wherever else, that have not been audited, throw their encryption out and say, you know what, we have this core product that does stickers better than everyone else. Here, we're going to incorporate Signal's protocol into ours. And with this money, Moxie's going to be able to send somebody there to the company to really help them out. So they're able to hire more people and to promote more and to work. I think this is a really good thing. I really do hope it gets on. And maybe they petition the big carriers to say, hey, Verizon, hey, T-Mobile, can we be on the phones?
Imagine this. Imagine if they Open Whisper Systems and the Signal Foundation or consortium paid a bunch of money to all the big US carriers and all the big EU carriers, and the Signal Messenger was the default messaging application, the default SMS application pre-installed on a giant fleet of phones. You've got people who don't know any better, who have no idea what end-to-end encryption is, no idea that they even should be communicating securely, send a message to their buddy, and it happens that they've both got a phone from Verizon with Signal on it, so it uses the Signal protocol to link them up. We could get massive amounts of end-to-end encrypted messages out there and massive amounts of users communicating securely simply by the fact that it would be pre-installed on these devices. It's really, really exciting, right? That's not confirmed. They've totally never talked about this, but that is the number one thing I would do if I had $50 million handed to me.
I would probably make like a lesser Signal that acts more like WhatsApp, so you don't have to constantly verify the messages or whatever else, because I will tell you, it is very difficult to use if you're not expecting all these things. But find a way to not lose the security, but take those trade-offs and maybe make it more of a commercial app and have the real app if somebody else wants to quote unquote upgrade for free type thing. But again, this is all speculation. We just know they got $50 million. They got the WhatsApp co-founder as some sort of chairman of this new charitable organization. And with the little money they have, they've done awesome. So hopefully they take this money and they use it wisely.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do with this. It's still very early days for the consortium, but hey, here's to hoping.
So anyway, we're at the end of our show. We'll end it now, and we will see everyone next week.
See you, everyone.
Bye.